Welcome to Pure Soul Alchemy with Gabriella. I'm Gabriella Espinosa, life change catalyst and creator of Pure Soul Alchemy. I'll be taking us through a shamanic soul realignment process for the next 30 minutes. So find a nice comfortable place where you can lay down, relax, and receive this session. Pure Soul Alchemy is a transmission of channeled shamanic healing technologies, which structure your creative source grid. Transformative operations and procedures are enacted for you while you comfortably relax. Through my perception and vocalization of the inner energetic grid, we are opened in ways which allow these technologies to come into our physical reality and enact change on our behalf. There will be quite a few moments of silence as I am delivering these processes. Simply rest into the silence during these times and receive the healing energies. Don't focus too much on what is being said. Simply relax and let the transmission come through and work on you. It's quite helpful to go back and listen again repeatedly to deepen the effects of the session and take the healing further. Today's show is a shamanic healing session to release us from the archetype of the victim. Every now and again we find ourselves in a situation where we feel powerless, a victim of circumstances, or of other people's choices. In this session, we will initiate shamanic healing operations for disconnecting us from the victim identity and archetype and restore our connection with our own truth and power. You will receive a strengthening of your inner resolve to take divinely guided action towards your triumph. Prepare for your session by visualizing yourself with a renewed sense of empowerment. In your mind's eye, connect to any situation where you find yourself in the victim role. Visualize this being lifted and resolved. Several of the healing points that we will cover in our session today. Number 1, releasing the base victim identity. Number 2, liberating ourselves from our delusions of minimization. Number 3, renewing our sense of our exalted selves. And number 4, cutting dysfunctional cords and attachments from people, situations, and beliefs that perpetuate a life of living in limitation. Now settle into your stillness. Fall into your natural deep breathing rhythm. Bring into your awareness. Bring into your heart. And bring into your pelvic bowl your willingness to reconnect and reclaim your inherent power. Your self-determination and your authoritative center. Rest now in the knowing that you are held by Spirit at all times and that your orientation to life is undergoing a vastly improved change. Let that take hold in your sight, in your heart, and in your life as we go through our session. So we're now connecting with our divine physical and non-physical intelligence to align completely with our own core essence. Aligning with the fundamental and essential aspects of ourselves. Aligning with the earth, the sun, the moon, with our own Mother, Father, God self, with our own inherent Creator self, and our right placement in the universe. The purest healing source within us is our own deepest aspect. We agree to serve as our own healing agent and to serve from and as our own ultimate inner counsel, the all that I am. We now invoke, welcome, and receive our beloved Mother and Father God to exact their loving, divine, blessed grace directly into our healing proceedings today. So we're going to go ahead and begin by working on healing point number 3. So initiating the renewal of our sense of our exalted selves. Recovering, recollecting, and re-administrating our deeper, instinctive, glorious, exalted self. Renewing our sense of our exalted selves. And we are initiating inherent application of and from our exalted selves. Restoring faith in what lies ahead and in what is possible for us. Clearing away doomed logic that is stymied in a space of despair, hopelessness, having given up, there's no way out, etc. So we are unlocking our logic and clearing away doomed logic. Facilitating a departure from the misperception of our life as being closed off from expansive possibility. Embracing our inherent expansive possibility in accord with Spirit, in accord with what Spirit has laid out for us. The glorious and infinite space. Great, so moving along to healing point number 4. So we're calling in our higher guides, higher guardian spirits to come in and facilitate this piece for all of us. Great, so we're going to begin cutting dysfunctional cords, ties, connections from people, situations, and beliefs, whether other people's or our own beliefs, that perpetuate a life of our own limitation. Cutting dysfunctional cords, ties, connections from people, situations, beliefs, energies, concepts, any and all forms that perpetuate a life of our own limitation. So we're cleaning up our own end of this connection, these connections, as we're cutting them. Because there's a piece in us that, based in low self-esteem, low sense of personal impact, believed that we needed them because we were deficient in some way in ourselves. So we're releasing any negative affinities that we may have had with these and reclaiming our own empowered spirit. Great. That's going to continue throughout our session and in the weeks beyond our session. And we're going to go ahead and begin filling in any spaces, holes, voids in our energy bodies that are left because we've released these negative affinities and cut these negative connections. So we're filling any spaces, holes, or voids in our energy bodies with the grace of the Divine Heart. With the exquisiteness of our divine, autonomous, empowered, independent spirit. Renewing our sense of enthusiasm for life and of our personal impact. Renewing our belief in ourself and strengthening this new self-empowered, independent structure. So I just want to mention before we go on to the next healing point that we are continuing to cut, dissolve any dysfunctional connections, ties, cords that we have had in the past with people, situations, energies, forms, beliefs that have perpetuated a life of our own limitation. So that's going to continue full on for the next coming weeks after you listen today. Great. So I'm just going to revisit this piece in healing point number 3 that we're still working on, clearing away doomed logic. Great. So we're just going to sit with that for a little bit, releasing hopelessness, despair, having given up in terms of the great things that are possible for us in our lives. Great, and that's going to continue. Great, so we're going to go ahead and begin working on healing point number 1, releasing the base form of the victim identity. Releasing the base form of the victim identity. Allowing ourselves to release the grip of the victim archetype from our energy field, from our spirit to human hologram. So as we are letting go, what's happening is we're bringing in supportive frequencies, energy operations to support us in letting go of the victim identity. Any identifications that we may have that may have a hold over us, that we are holding on to also, that keep us identified as a victim. And so to support this particular process, this releasing, letting go, we're going to bring in the energetic healing support of Orosoma bottle number 100. And this is Archangel Metatron. The colors are clear over deep magenta. I'm going to read a little bit about it as we are bringing it in and infusing this into your auric field and also into this process that we have currently going on. I shine the light on the shadow and say yes to that which I have denied. The alchemy of embracing our wholeness, letting go of the deepest levels of fear. A transformation for the deepest levels of suffering. The light coming into the shadow. The two colors in this bottle reflect all of the colors. The transparency of the light in the above fraction and the deep magenta that absorbs all the light in the depths. The possibility to bring the light into the shadow, to be able to see things as they are within the mirror, and at the same time be prepared to look into what lies within the shadow, to come into a new acceptance of all that lies within the depths. A person who dares to face the greatest challenges with courage and care. Balance and equilibrium after the storm. So this bottle assists us in letting go, understanding and letting go, healing our suffering. It can help us to understand the reasons for suffering. The main reasons for suffering are getting what we don't want, wanting what we can't have, and not being able to distinguish between these two. Difficulties in facing the shadow in all aspects lying within the shadow. On the spiritual level, this bottle supports the light and the dark, enlightenment through intense caring, intense love, intense light, an important link between the human kingdom and the divine kingdom, This bottle supports the work on the planetary grid system of the Earth. On the mental level, this bottle shines the light on the issues of self-love and self-acceptance, and it helps to release blocks related to self-acceptance. So we're applying this around and on the entire body, infusing the entire energy field. And the affirmation, I see all things as they are. Great, so that's going to continue coming in and supporting us. So we are restructuring the basic foundations of our true identity and releasing any and all forms of the victim archetype, healing the personality, releasing the notion of ourselves as deficient or lacking in any way. Releasing paranoia, internal judgment held against ourselves. So we're now optimizing and implementing the development of authoritative strides in our harmonious forward motion. Development of authoritative strides in our harmonious forward motion. And implementing the complete letting go of past depression, depressive stance, reactivating life. So healing point number 2, liberating ourselves from our delusions of minimalization. Healing the timeline where we have been victimized in the past. Healing past woundings, pain patterns, affiliations with that pain and trauma, and deep despair that has come about as a result. Healing the pain and shame, internal neglect, and departure from the grandness of our spirit that came about from the traumas and pains of victimization in the past. So we are implementing a healing of the departure from the grandness of our spirit and restoring the grandness of our spirit, as well as the central core expression from and as the grandness of our spirit. Healing a recoil, contraction stance in life. Removing that as a base form of operation in our life. and restoring ownership of our self-determination, inner strength, and natural authoritative resolve. Restoring ownership of our self-determination, inner strength, and natural authoritative resolve. So we're bringing our session to a close. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Pure Soul Alchemy with Gabriella. I highly recommend that you listen to this session repeatedly. It will be available in the on-demand episodes portion of my show page. This will deepen the effects of the session and take your healing further with each replay. To make a donation to the show, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the Blog Talk Radio Pure Soul Alchemy homepage and click the show's extras button. For commercial-free listening, go to your iTunes and search Pure Soul Alchemy with Gabriella, then click the subscribe button. For more info, visit www.puresoulalchemy.com. This is Gabriella Espinosa. Have a wonderful day.